All right, let's start this lesson where we're going to create a logo using shapes. Make sure you reset the preferences for the program and you started Illustrator. Go ahead and choose File Open or click Open. In the Lessons Lesson 3 folder, go ahead and open up l3end.ai. This is the final project that you'll create. Choose View, Fit Artboard and Window, and if you want to, you can close this or leave it open. Let's get started. We'll start this lesson by creating a brand new document. So choose File, New. And in the New Document dialog box, go ahead and choose Print for the category. That's going to give us a bunch of settings that are set up for us and a bunch of document presets that you can start from. Select the letter blank preset in case it's not already selected. On the right side of the dialog box, we're going to change a few things here. We're going to change the name. So call it Toucan Logo. Units, I'm going to choose inches. You can choose whatever you want. I'm going to make sure that the width is 8 inches and the height, I'm going to press tab to get there, is 8 inches as well. The orientation is portrait. You can see it right there. And one artboard. Go ahead and click Create, and you've got yourself a brand new document. Okay, now you'll save your document. So choose File, Save As. You're going to see this Cloud Document dialog box. This basically means that you can save it locally on your computer or up in Creative Cloud if you want to, which means you can access it anywhere. We're going to save it on our computer. So click Save on your computer. In the Save As dialog box, you can see the names there. Make sure that Illustrator is chosen and click Save. Click OK in the Illustrator Options dialog box. And then we're going to reset the workspace. So choose Window, Workspace. Make sure Essentials is chosen. Then choose Reset Essentials. Okay, now we're going to change a few things about the document. So click the Document Setup button over here in the Properties panel. And we're going to adjust or add what we call a bleed. So click the up arrow here to add a bleed. That's going to add a red line around the outside so that we can pull objects to that line. And if it gets printed and cut out of a larger sheet of paper or something like that, there'll be some wiggle room. So click OK. And then choose View, Fit Artboard and Window. And you should see the red bleed guide now. Let's start by making a few rectangles. So select the rectangle tool over there in the toolbar. And come out here and we're going to drag a roughly 2-inch square. So you're going to see that if it's a square, it's got this line in it. There we go, like that. All right, now move the pointer over the center of this thing so we can drag it around. And drag it up to the top half of the artboard up here. Click to the right. We're going to make another rectangle a different way here. So just click and let go. You can do it using a dialog box. Change the width to 0.56 inches and the height to 1 inch. You don't have to type the IN. If you're using a different unit, you want to type 1 IN so it'll convert to your units. Click OK, and you've got yourself a new rectangle. Okay, now you'll edit the rectangles. So select the selection tool over here in the toolbar. Click anywhere in the larger rectangle to select it. Drag the top point right here to resize it. We're going to make it about 1.75 inches. You can see this little measurement label. Give you an idea of what it looks like. There we go. In the transform section, you can also, over here, you can also change the size of things. Make sure that this maintain width and height, the proportions here, is turned off. It should look like that. If it looks like this, click on it to turn it off. Select the width and type 0.88. Now, if you're using a different unit, type in IN, press return or enter, and it'll convert it to your units. Click the smaller rectangle over here to select it. Move the pointer just off a corner and we're going to rotate it. So drag it. Once you see these little curved arrows, drag it to the left. Press the shift key, and when you see 90 degrees, release the mouse button and the key. Drag the rectangle. You can drag it by anywhere. I tell you to drag it by the center point, but drag it over here onto the first rectangle and align it to the top. You should see that it's going to snap up there. You get a little line right there. And there we go. All right, with a few shapes out there, let's change the color. With the smaller rectangle still selected, click the Fill Color box in the panel on the right over here. Make sure the swatches are selected right here so you can see them. And then select a green color to fill it. Okay, you're going to need to press Escape. Click the Stroke Color box. Make sure swatches are selected. And choose None to remove the stroke. Click the larger rectangle over here to select it. Click the Fill Color box, select Black, press the Escape key, click the Stroke Color box, and assign None so you remove the stroke. Choose Select Deselect, and save your file. You just put color in the bird. Now I'll show you how to drag and round corners of rectangles. So click the larger rectangle here and zoom into it by choosing View, Zoom In a few times. So 1, 2. All right, you need to see these little live corner widgets. It's these little circles right here. If you don't see them, zoom in again. Drag any of the widgets toward the center to round the corners just a little bit. If you go too far, you're going to see that's it. That's as far as you can go. We just want to do a little bit. Like that. All right, click to select the smaller green rectangle. Drag any of the corners, once again, to round them just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's not going to match exactly, don't worry. Aside from dragging to round, you can also round corners in the Properties panel. Go ahead and select the larger rectangle here. Come to the Properties panel and click the More Options button right up here. It's going to show you all 4 corners here that you can round. Make sure that the link corner radius values is off. So turn that off. You can see like that. Click the down arrow for the upper left corner to make it 0. You should see that that corner is now 0. Do the same for the lower left corner. Click the up arrow for the lower right corner several times till you see a value of 0.525. Yeah, it looks like I need to type that in, so I'm going to go 0.525 and return. All right, now click to select the smaller rectangle. You're going to need to click it twice to hide that panel. Click the More Options again. Now, this one, these corners don't match up to the corners over here. So like the upper left corner here is not the upper left corner here because we rotated this thing. Make sure that the link corner radius values is off. Change the corner radius for the upper right corner to round it as much as you can. You're going to use this one right here because this thing is rotated. All right, now we're going to go to this one here, and we're going to choose chamfer. You can actually change the corner radius type, if you will. And that's going to do the lower left down here. Make it a little bit larger so you can see the chamfer. And I'm doing the wrong one here. Let me go up here. A little too big. Okay, there we go. All right, press the Escape key to close the Options panel and leave the rectangle selected. You can also round individual corners with the Direct Selection tool, which is what you'll do next. Select the Direct Selection tool in the toolbar, over here on the left. Come on out here, and with the smaller rectangle still selected, double click the upper left live corners widget, this one right here. In the corners dialog box, change the radius to 0, go down, and click OK. Notice that only one corner has changed. You should see there it went, finally. Click the live corner widget in the lower right corner to select it. Now drag it away from the center of the shape to remove the rounding. That's another way to be able to do this. You can edit each individual corner radius point. Choose Select, Deselect, and save your file. Let's continue the bird by creating and editing an ellipse. Press and hold down the mouse button on the rectangle tool and select the ellipse tool. To the right of the green rectangle, right over here somewhere, drag to make an ellipse circle with an approximate width and height of 1.18 inches. See something like that right there. That's good enough. All right. Click the fill color box over here and make sure swatches are selected and click on the white-black gradient here. Drag the circle, and you're going to have to hide the panel. Drag the circle by the center dot here, and let's align it with the center over here, the right edge rather, and the bird. So we'll go something like that. All right, choose Select, Deselect, and save your file. Okay, I went back and actually rounded this edge a little more just because it wasn't quite there. With the ellipse tool still selected to the right of the bird, press and drag to make an ellipse, and as you drag, press the Shift key. That's going to make it a perfect circle. Make sure you go to about 0.4 inches, release the mouse button, and then the key. Click the fill box, and what we're going to do over here is we're going to select the black color to fill the shape. All right, press the Escape key to hide the swatches. Click the stroke color box, and we're going to choose a yellow color. I think I picked that one. All right, change the stroke weight here to 6 by increasing the value. Now you're going to drag the circle from its center onto the bird to make the eye. So come on over here and drag it from the center onto the bird, and we'll resize it next. You might have to move it after you're done resizing it. So to make it smaller, in the transform section over here, the properties panel, make sure that maintain width and height is on. It's selected. So click here. Change either value to 0.09 inches. Press enter and return. And it just resized it. Now you're going to see that something bad happened here. It looks like the yellow swallowed up the black in the middle. I'll show you how to fix that. Okay, to fix the eye, what we're going to do is we're going to take the stroke and we're going to align it differently. So with it still selected, click the word stroke in the properties panel over here. And it's going to open up the stroke panel. In the stroke panel, click the align stroke to outside button here, and look what happens. It puts the stroke to the outside of the shape, and that fixes it. Now if you need to move it, you can drag it by the center here and drag it around. Now you got to be careful, because if you try and drag it and you grab a point or something else, you might distort it or change the size or do something like that. We don't want to do that. You can always zoom in if you need to. All right, choose Select, Deselect, and we're going to make a pie shape next. We're going to make this circle a half circle. And we're going to use a pie widget to be able to do this. I'll show you what I mean. Select the selection tool and then click the gradient filled circle on the body. You can now see this pie widget off the right side. Drag that clockwise, as big as you want or as long as you want or whatever, and then let go. You can see you can make pie widgets. You'll see another one now. This is your start here. So drag that one the other way, and you can see what you can do here. You can do all kinds of stuff, and then let go. Now for us to make this perfect or the right size, we're going to go to the properties panel. So come on over here and click more options in the transform section. Choose 90 degrees from the pie start angle here. If you look, it's going to do that. It's going to go straight up and down. And then come over here, we're going to choose 270 from the pi end angle. And I should put that one there. There we go. Press escape to hide the panel. Click the arrange button over here. We're going to put it behind the beak. So choose send backward to send it backward once. And it should send it behind the beak there. Now, if you need to, you might need to align it to the black shape here. You can always drag it from the center point and do that. I think that looks pretty good right there. All right, select the yellow eye circle here. Click the arrange button and choose send backward to send it behind the green shape. And what you might need to do is move it over a little bit, like that. Move it up and over. And I'm realizing that my green shape is a little off here. It needs to be farther to the left like that, more like that to match the book. And that means that this corner right here, I don't want to do that. This corner right here, if I go back, needs to actually be a little bit bigger. Something like that. So I'm going to drag that back like that, put that there. Move the yellow shape over now. And I think, are we looking better? I'm just making sure it looks like the book. I think that's actually too much. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. 0.2. Look somewhere else. There we go. I'll drag it back. Okay. That looks a little better. I'm messing with it. You can always use your arrow keys if you want to move things around, bump them. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start creating some polygons. The next type of shape we're going to make is called a polygon. So press and hold down on the ellipse tool and select the polygon tool. Choose View Smart Guides to turn them off, and you'll see why in a second. And we're going to start drawing. So come on over here and just drag to the right. You can see a polygon. Press the down arrow key once to lower the number of sides. Press the shift key to straighten it. Release the mouse button, and then the key. Did you notice that you didn't see any measurements or any lines or anything popping out? That's because the smart guides were turned off. Okay, let's change the stroke color. Click the stroke color box. Choose none. So we're going to remove the stroke. Choose View Smart Guides to turn them back on so that we can get all the measurements and everything available again. Drag the little side widget over here, and what we want to do is we want to change it back to 6, I'm realizing. So drag the sides. You can change the number of sides here, and this is how you make a triangle. Drag it to 6 and let go. And save your file. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that polygon and edit it. Okay, now we're going to edit the polygon. With it still selected, in the transform section of the properties panel, choose 90 from the rotate angle. We can rotate it like that. That's the shift key, and we're going to drag a corner to make it bigger or smaller depending on how big you made it. When you see height, and make sure you're pressing the shift key, not the caps lock like me, of approximately 107. I'm going too far. There we go. Release the mouse button and the key. Alright, in the transform section over here, make sure that the maintain width and height proportions is deselected so it looks like this. Select the width value and type in 0.31. Press return or enter. Alright, now we're going to change it up a little bit. So go ahead and select the direct selection tool over there in the toolbar. And we want to round the corners here, 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 and here, these 4. So drag across all 4 of these points. Drag one of the live corner widgets toward the center and keep going until you can't drag any further and let go. Okay, now we're going to take this shape and make the tail feathers for the bird. So select the selection tool, and with the polygon still selected, choose 120 from the rotation angle up here to rotate it a little bit more. All right, drag the polygon down into position, kind of like you see here on the bird, and it should snap like to the bottom, something like that, I think. To make a copy, choose Edit, Edit Copy, and then Edit Paste in Front. You now have a copy on top. I'll put it back. I undid. All right, rotate the copy by choosing 150 over here. And you're going to learn later how to do it manually. Drag it out there to rotate it. And then drag it into place. So we're going to put it down kind of like that. There we go. It should snap, hopefully. The bird needs some feet. So we're going to make some feet now from a polygon. Select the polygon tool over here and drag to the right of the bird here to begin drawing until you see 1 inch roughly for the width. So I'll say about 1 inch. There we go. Don't let go yet. Press the down arrow key as many times as you can to reduce the number of sides to a triangle. Hold the shift key to straighten the shape. Release the mouse button and then the key and leave the shape selected. All right, drag the polygon from the center point down below the bird to make a foot. It's going to be a really big foot. Don't worry, we'll make it smaller. Click the fill box, and we're going to choose an orange to fill the shape. And there we go. We now have a foot. We'll fix it later, don't worry. Another type of shape we're going to create is called a star. And what I want you to do when you do this is make sure you pay attention and don't let go of your mouse until I say, okay? Press and hold down on the polygon tool. I can't get to it, there we go. And select the star tool. All right, to the right of the bird, start dragging. Drag until you see a width of about 1.14 inches. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, I'll tell you right now. Press the up arrow key a few times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to go 6, 7, 8. We need to go to 8. Press Command or Control on Windows and drag away from the center a little bit just to make it a little pointier. Release the Command or Control key but not the mouse button. Press the Shift key to straighten the star. Release the mouse button and then the key. I know that's a lot. It is a lot to do and I apologize, but that's how you draw stars. Alright, select the selection tool and drag the star onto the head, kind of like you see over here, like the bird. I think I stuck it way down here, something like that. Okay. Click the fill color box and we're going to make sure that it is black. So we'll fill it with black. There we go. Now, come to the corner and shift drag to make it smaller. I'm not sure how big I made it, something like that. And then we're going to drag it up, obviously, but we're going to arrange it. So click the Arrange button over here and choose Send to Back to send it behind everything else. That way it should be behind the head and all this kind of stuff. And you can kind of drag it around a little bit, put it where you want it. I'll put it like right there. That looks pretty good. One of the last shapes you're going to create is a line. So let's draw a line. Press and hold on the star tool and select the line segment tool. To the right of the orange triangle, which is actually the foot, like right about here, press and drag in any direction to draw a line. You can see you can drag it anywhere. As you drag, press the Shift key. It's going to constrain it to 45 degrees. So we're going to go straight across here. When you see a length, or distance it's called, of 0.4 inches, not that big. There we go, 0.4. Release the mouse button and then the key. Change the stroke weight over here to 13. It's going to get kind of big. That's fine. And we're going to change the color now. So we're going to make it a darker orange color. So something like that. I think that should work. Now, with the line selected, move the pointer just off the right end, and you should see these rotate arrows. Press and drag up until you see an angle of about 90 degrees. There we go. You could press the Shift key as you do this to constrain it, but I don't need to do that. Release the mouse button. Select the selection tool. And what I want you to do is drag the line by the center point onto the triangle over here and get it in the center. You can feel it kind of center a line in there, hopefully. There we go. That looks pretty good. Look different. There we go. Drag across the line and the triangle, and then we're going to group them. So click the group button to keep them together. Now, we're going to scale this foot, but this is a line. So what we need to do is we need to turn on this thing called Scale, Strokes, and Effects. So click More Options over here and select Scale, Strokes, and Effects. That means that if you scale the line, the path, the stroke is going to scale too. It's going to get smaller or bigger. Shift drag up from the bottom center here, and we're going to make this thing pretty small when it's around a height of like 2.2 inches rather in width. Pretty small. Release the mouse button and then the key. Make a copy by Option or Alt dragging on Windows to the right. Release the mouse button and then the key. And you've got yourself 2 feet. Okay, we're going to paste artwork from another document now, which means we need to open something else. So choose File, Open, and in the Lesson 3 folder, go ahead and open up the toucanartwork.ai file. Now there's a bunch of stuff in here, and what I want to do is I want to be able to see everything first. So choose View, Fit Artboard and Window, and to select everything out here, select the Selection tool, make sure you do, and choose Select All on Active Artboard. Then choose Edit Copy. Go ahead and click the Toucan Logo.ai tab to return to the document. Choose View, Fit Artboard and Window so you can see everything. What I want you to do is paste it. So choose Edit, Paste in Place. You put it in the same relative position. Alright. Choose Select, Deselect, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to start to work with drawing modes. Now we'll venture into the Draw Inside mode, which is actually kind of fun. Click the green toucan bill shape, you can see right here. Come down here to the toolbar at the bottom and choose Draw Inside. Alright, now come up here and click on the colorful artwork, and what I want you to do is we're going to cut that off the page. So choose Edit, Cut. And notice the bill here has these weird little dashed lines around it. That means that anything you draw or paste or create or whatever is going to go inside of that shape. Okay, choose Edit, Paste, and it's going to put it in the bill. Click the Drawing Modes button, and what we're going to do is we're going to go back to what's called Draw Normal so that it won't continue to happen. Choose Select, Deselect, and save your file. Now we're going to edit that content that was drawn inside. So with the selection tool selected, try clicking the pink part at the end of the bill. You'll notice that you actually select the green bill shape instead. The green bill shape is actually masking the artwork. You'll learn more about masking in a later lesson, but for right now, click Isolate Mask over here in the Properties panel, and that'll allow you to edit the bill and the artwork within. Now try clicking the pink part of the bill again. You should be able to select it. You can move it around a little bit if you want to using the arrow keys. Just kind of get it looking a little different, maybe something like that. And then press the Escape key to exit isolation mode and choose Select, Deselect. Another mode that can be really useful is called the Draw Behind mode. You can draw a background shape, for instance, behind all the artwork by going into this mode. Come down here to the bottom of the toolbar and click on the Drawing Modes button again and choose Draw Behind. Now anything you create, paste, or place is going to be put behind everything on that layer. Okay, press and hold the Line Segment tool over here and select the Rectangle tool. What I want you to do is come out here and shift drag to make a square. It's going to be a little bit larger than the bird. Shift drag to make a square. Release the mouse button and the key. Because the draw behind mode is on, it's going behind the bird, not on top of the bird. Let's change the color. Click the fill color box, swatches, and we'll choose a color like that, just a light gray. Click the stroke color box as well, and make sure that no stroke, or none, is applied. Now, to rotate the rectangle, move the pointer just off a corner. When you see the rotate arrows, press the shift key and drag until you see, till it's, oh, that's the caps lock. There we go. So it looks like that. Right, mine looks a little bigger than the book, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Click the drawing mode button again and go back to draw normal. You got to remember to do that, otherwise everything will be behind the artwork. Now we'll trace images to get artwork. In other words, we're going to take a picture that I took and turn it into vector artwork. So we're going to place something first. Choose File, Place. In the Lessons Lesson 3 folder, open up stick.jpg and click Place. Click somewhere out here in an empty area. It's not going to fit on the artboard, don't worry about it. Now to center the image in a document window, choose View, Zoom in a few times. That's going to zoom into that image. We'll do it a couple times. There we go. With the image selected, let's trace it. So come over here and you should see the Image Trace button. Click on that and choose Low Fidelity Photo. Now we can try all kinds of different options here, preset options. Matter of fact, if you come back over here, you can try something like silhouettes. It's going to turn it into black. We can also further refine how it traces. Come over here and click this little button to open the Image Trace panel. In here, if you open up Advanced, you can go in and adjust exactly how it traces. We're going to leave the threshold the same. PAS 95, so I'm going to change that by typing it in. You can drag the slider here. Corners 80. Gives it more corners, so more edges. And then noise, 90, we'll leave it at that. And then close the image trace panel and you got it. Alright, now, it still isn't editable, truly editable. You can't go in and edit the points out here because it's called an image tracing object if you look up over here. In order to edit the vector, the shapes, you need to expand it. So click expand. And that also means you can't do any of this stuff, preset, settings, etc. You're done. And you now have shapes. If you've got drawn artwork or something you've traced, you can actually clean it up using the Simplify command. With the stick artwork still selected, click the Ungroup button over here, and that should ungroup it. Deselect by choosing Select, Deselect. Select the selection tool, and what I want you to do is click on this extra artwork here and press Delete or Backspace. Click the shape here, the stick, and what we're going to do is we're going to simplify it, but first we're going to change the color. So click the fill box, make sure swatches are selected, and then select a brown color. I'll do, I don't know, something like that. Now to make the edges a little bit smoother, we're going to simplify it. So choose Object, Path, Simplify. You can do this to any artwork, not just traced artwork. Drag this slider to the left, and you'll see what it does. It starts to remove points. It can be too much though. Click More Options here, and you can open a dialog where you can actually set some things. Drag the Simplify curve right here all the way to the right maximum. That means it's going to have more points, you can see right here, so it's not going to be as simple. Now drag the same slider to the left until you see new 20 points. So right down here. There we go. Click OK. And you've got your stick. Now we're going to finish it. Just a few things left to finish the logo. Choose View, Fit Artboard and Window so we can see the entire artboard. Drag the stick over the feet of the bird. Put it like right about, I don't know, right about there maybe? Something like that. And to put it behind, click Arrange and choose Send to Back. Now the problem is it's behind the gray square here, so click Arrange again and choose Bring Forward to bring it on top of the gray square. Now the bird is standing on it. Drag across the bird and the square and everything right here and group them together by clicking Group. And then drag it into position. Just put it where you think it looks good. I think I had it somewhere around here. Something like that. There we go. And there's your logo. Choose File, Save, and close the files that you have open. Alright, so let's get started with this lesson. Make sure that you've reset the preferences and you've started Illustrator. Choose File Open or click Open here. Go to the Lessons Lesson 4 folder and open up the L4 end file. You should see it looks something like this. You can choose View, Fit All in Window, so you can see everything. And the final is right up over here on the right. Alright, now we're going to open up the Start file, the one we're going to work on. So choose File, Open. In the same folder, open up the L4 Start.ai file. And you'll probably see the missing fonts dialog box because of this font. Go ahead and activate the font. This is an Adobe font, which means that you're going to activate it and you can use it. It's part of your Adobe subscription. Click Close when it's activated. And you can skip this. Let's save the file. So choose File, Save As. Save it on your computer. You're going to see this all the time unless you choose, or select rather, don't show again there. Click Save on your computer. Alright, we're going to call this Diner Poster and just save it in the same file as an Illustrator file. Click OK in the Illustrator Options dialog box. And we're going to reset the workspace here. So choose Window, Workspace. Make sure Essentials is chosen. Reset Essentials. The first type of tool we're going to work with is called the Scissors tool, which allows you to cut paths. Go up to the View menu and make sure that Smart Guides are turned on. That way we can, use them. Choose one poster parts from down here. All right, it should be selected there. Now we're going to work in the work area here, and the final is kind of what you can see or what you expect when you're finished. Select the selection tool over there in the toolbar and click the gray shape with the green stroke behind it. Open 24 hours there. So I'm going to click on that right there. And then press Command and plus or Control and plus on Windows several times to zoom into that. I'm going to go in pretty close. Alright, with the shape selected, press and hold on the Eraser tool, which should be right here, and select the Scissors tool. Now, if we want to, we can cut a path, just about any path. Come up above, right here, you can see. I'm going to go, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go kind of in the middle. Click on the path, and that just cut it right there. Now what you can do is you can take it and reshape it. So select the Direct Selection tool. Come out here and drag this point. You're going to see it's now cut in half. So I'll go up a little bit here, not too much. And then drag this one up a little bit to the right, kind of like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to join these together. When you join paths together, you actually close a path to make a shape, essentially. So like right here, we have a stroke going around. The path is cut right here. If I want this stroke, the green stroke, to go all the way around, I'm going to join these two anchor points together. Close the path, it's called. Select the Selection tool. Click away from the path to deselect it, and then click on it again. Now that's important, because we had anchor points selected before. You want to select the whole thing. Click the Join button over here in the Properties panel, and that should automatically join the two endpoints together. Okay, shift-click the Open 24 Hours text. We're going to group that together. So click Group, deselect by choosing Select, Deselect, and save your file. Now we're going to cut with the knife tool. The knife actually doesn't just cut a path, it cuts a shape in two, for instance. Press the space bar to access the hand tool and drag up in the document so you see the brown shapes right down here. Click the brown shape here, which is part of the dog. And now we need to get to the knife tool. So what I want you to do is choose Window, Toolbars, Advanced. You should now see a lot more tools over there in the toolbar. Press and hold on the scissors tool and select the knife tool. Now the way this works is you just drag across something and it cuts it. Now it will not cut in a straight line to start. So what I want you to do is move the pointer above the shape, like right up here. Drag to cut a nose, kind of like that, and let go. You're going to see it actually made it into two shapes now. Choose Select, Deselect. With the selection tool, come out here and click the new nose shape right there. Click the fill color box. We're going to make it black. So apply a black color. Press the escape key to hide the panel and then deselect. I'm going to click somewhere to deselect. You can also cut a straight line with the knife tool, which is what you'll do next. Click what's left of the brown shape here and then select the knife tool. Come on out here and move the pointer above the shape, and what I want you to do is press the caps lock key on your keyboard, and that's going to give you what's called a precise cursor, and it's a little easier to see where it's going to cut now. Press and hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and begin dragging across. And what I want you to do is you can move it around, wiggle it around, move it right up about here, release the mouse button and then the key, and you just cut these in a straight line. Choose Select, Deselect, and now what we'll do is we'll change the color of one of them. With the selection tool selected, click the left half of the original shape, so this right here. Click on the fill, and let's change it to another color. I think I chose that one in the book. Alright, now drag across all shapes to select them and group them together by clicking Group here in the Properties panel. Then make sure you press the caps lock key to turn off the precise cursor. Another great way to edit a shape is to use the eraser tool. You can actually erase part of a shape or even a path. Choose Select, Deselect. Press the space bar and drag up so you can see this rectangle down here, which is going to be an ear of the dog. Alright, press and hold down the mouse button on the knife and select the eraser tool. And then double click on the eraser tool over here in the toolbar, and that's going to give you some options. Some of the tools actually have this. You can set some options. I just want to change the size of it. We're going to change the size to, I think, 60 point, I said in the book. And then click OK. Alright, move the pointer above the ear here, where we become the ear. And then just drag down. And it's kind of rough. And watch what happens when I let go. It'll kind of smooth it out a little bit. You can keep going if you want. You can actually keep trying to erase little bits here and there to smooth it out. There we go, not too bad. I think I'll leave it there. You can always undo if you want to, choosing Edit, Undo Eraser, and try again. Alright, select the direct selection tool. What we're going to do is we're going to round the two corners here. So click in the brown shape. Come up to this point right here. Shift click this one and this one to select both. And then drag one of them in so we round it a little bit. Something like that. Okay, select the selection tool, and what I want you to do is we're going to drag the ear onto the dog head above it. You may need to zoom out or press the space bar and drag to see both. Drag it up here. Move the pointer off a corner just to rotate it, and rotate it a little bit. I think I did something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I think I made it a little bit bigger by shift dragging one of the points here just to make it so it fits a little better. There we go. Okay, drag across the combined head here and group. You can also erase in a perfectly straight line, and that's what you'll do next. It comes in handy. Come down here, and we're going to switch artboards. So click on 3 poster to go to it. And you can see we've got some circles down here. Go ahead and click on the larger green circle, and then choose View Zoom In a few times so that we can go to it. Whoops, I'm moving the application around here. View, Zoom In. We'll do that just a couple times here. There we go. All right, double click the eraser tool over here, and we're going to set some settings. Change the size to make it really big. I'm going to make mine 300 and then click OK. With it selected, come down here, and what I want to do is I want to drag straight across. To make a straight cut, press the Shift key and drag to the right. It's only going to cut what's selected, so it won't cut anything else. Release the mouse button and then the Shift key. There you go. Go ahead and practice doing this. I can press the Command key or Control key to go to the selection tool. Let go of the key and you can go back to the eraser. And then do the same thing. Shift, drag across. Whoops, I messed up. Edit undo. I'll come over here, press the Shift key, drag across, erase, let go of the mouse, then the key, and you've got it. All right, go ahead and save your file by choosing File, Save. We're going to work on the sign for the diner now, and we're going to create what's called a compound path. Think of it as kind of like a donut. Choose 2 signage from down here, and you should see we've got 2 circles out here. With the selection tool selected, select the red circle at the bottom, shift click the dark green circle above it, release the Shift key. Okay, now click the larger dark green circle again to make it the key object. Now we did this in lesson 2. Now we're going to align the 2. So come over here to the Properties panel. We're going to do horizontal line center and vertical line center. So they're on top of each other. One is on top of the other, rather. All right, with both of them selected, choose Object, Compound Path, way down here. Pick. And look what happens. It actually makes like a donut. It's actually cut through. All right, shift click the light green circle here. And I press caps lock, so I'm going to try it again. Select, shift click, there we go. Click the circle again to make it the key object. We're going to do the exact same thing here. Align horizontal center, align vertical center. And we got it. Choose Select, Deselect, and save your file. Something else we can do is called outlining strokes, and it's going to make more sense, I think, when you just see it. So let's do it. Come down here and let's choose 1 poster parts to go to it. With the selection tool selected, make sure you've got that. Click a green plant path in the work area. You can see like right there. I think I did that one in the book. Choose View, Zoom In. Let's zoom into that a few times. I'm going to zoom in. I learned these keyboard commands really early on, so I didn't have to keep going to the menu. So like Command plus, Control plus on Windows. If you look in the Properties panel, you can see that this actually has a stroke and not a fill. What we want to do is this. We want to erase part of it, but you can't erase a line. It's got to be a solid shape. So we're going to do that. So choose Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Where is it? There we go. That makes it a shape. It's a rectangle now, and you can do whatever you want to. Select the eraser tool over there, and what I'd like you to do is we're gonna make this smaller. So I'm gonna double click again, come over here and set this to like 60 point, and then come out here. And what I want you to do, this is not going to be super easy. I'm not going to lie to you, but come out here and drag down. There we go, and then drag down. Make yourself a plant. Now, if you want to, what you can do is you can actually select another one and try the same thing. I'll just do one more. Object, Path, Outline Stroke. There we go. Eraser tool. Now, if you wanted to be smarter, you would just make one of these and then just copy paste it and rotate it and all that stuff. I'm just trying to give you some practice, that's all. So you can go in and kind of refine, keep editing, keep erasing, whatever you want to do. And just keep going if you want to. All right, great. When you're finished with the selection tool selected, drag across all the parts of the plant. and then group them together. When you create in Illustrator, a lot of times you're going to create simple shapes and then turn them into a more complex shape. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Choose View, Zoom Out a few times. And hopefully you can see the clouds down here. Press the space bar and drag up so you can see the artwork down here. What we're going to do is we're going to take these and turn them into this cloud. So with the selection tool selected, drag across the 3 white circles here to select them. Select the Shape Builder tool over here in the toolbar. You can see it right there. Now you need to have shapes selected to do this. Move the pointer off the left, and what I want you to do is just drag across and let go. You can see they combined whatever you dragged across. And we want to do everything. So what you can do to make it easy is press the Shift key and just drag, and anything inside this box is going to be part of it. Let go of the mouse, then the key. And you've got yourself part of your clouds. Okay, well, what we're going to do is take that rectangle down here and use it to remove part of the cloud, the bottom part, to make kind of a straight edge, right? So select the selection tool and drag that rectangle up. It's going to snap over there, and that's okay. Shift click this cloud shape to select it as well. Select the Shape Builder tool again. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to remove. By default, it adds or combines together. If you press the Option key on Mac or Alt key on Windows, you're going to see a minus sign. Drag across, let go of the mouse, then the key, and you remove the shape. Choose View, Fit Artboard, and Window so you can see everything. Now, I want to do this. I want to sample the coloring from the cloud there. So select the eyedropper tool over here in the toolbar, and then click the cloud to the right in the final example column. And you just applied the same coloring. There are lots of ways to combine content, and we're going to use something called Pathfinder Effects next. These are kind of next level, and there's something that they allow you to do a lot more. Let's just say that. Okay, zoom into the bush shapes, the green circle, and all that kind of thing. I'm just using the scroll wheel on my mouse here. With the selection tool selected, drag across the two green circles here to select them. With the shape selected in the Pathfinder section of the Properties panel here, click the Unite button. That's going to permanently combine them together, just like you would have done with the Shape Builder tool. All right, shift-click the orangish rectangle back here. And what I want you to do is come to more options over here in the Pathfinder. There's a whole bunch of other stuff we can do. Click the minus back button right here, which is going to knock the orange rectangle, which is in the back, out of the other shapes, or the shape rather. And you got yourself a bush. And we're going to use Pathfinder again, but we're going to use them in a little different way this time. Press the space bar and drag up so you can see the Cloud 2 artwork, which is right here. And we're going to combine this together, but we're going to do it a little differently. Drag across all the shapes to select them. This time, we want to unite them, but instead of just clicking Unite to permanently unite them or combine them, press the Option key on Mac or Alt key on Windows and click that button. What this does is it uses what's called a shape mode. So it creates a compound shape, it's called. All these shapes are still editable. Choose Select Deselect to see the final shape. And then double click within so you can go to isolation mode. You can now, it's like a group. You can select any of these objects. Like, let's make this one a little smaller. Shift, drag down, make it a little smaller. Be careful you don't go too far, it'll start doing some weird stuff. And you got yourself a cloud. Release the mouse and the key. But you can edit things independently, which is pretty awesome still. Okay, press the escape key to exit isolation mode. Click away to deselect, then click it again. If you want to commit to the combination here, you can choose Object, Expand Appearance. That should just say commit. So it commits to it. You can't now edit the original shapes, and you're done. Choose View, Fit Artboard, and Window. And what I want to do now is same thing we did before. We're going to select the eyedropper and sample this cloud to get the formatting. So go to the eyedropper tool, sample the cloud over here, and you've got yourself another cloud. I'd like to show you how to reshape a path easily. Make sure smart guides are on, go into view, and make sure there's a check mark there. If not, select it or choose it. With the selection tool selected, click the vertical line at the bottom of the artboard in the tail area here. Press Command and plus on Mac or Control and plus on Windows a bunch of times to zoom in. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing and reshape it. So come over here to the Scale tool and select the Reshape tool. Move the pointer over the middle of the path. What you can do is you can come out here and just drag it, and that's going to reshape it. So just reshape it a little bit. You added an anchor there, a point that you are going to reshape it with. Now, you can do all kinds of stuff. Why don't you come down here and try reshaping. Make sure you're on the path. Drag it this way a little bit. And you've got yourself a reshaped path. You can do it to the endpoints. You can do it to the middle. Wherever you want. You want to reshape it, you can do that. I want to give this path a little more profile. In other words, I want to make it look like a dog tail where it kind of tapers at the ends. We can use the width tool to do that. Select the width tool over here in the toolbar. You should see it right here. And the idea here is that we can come out and drag to reshape this thing. So move the pointer over the middle of the path. Notice the pointer has a plus symbol next to it. That means that if you were to drag, you'd edit the width. Drag away from the line to the right. And what I want you to do is drag until you see a width of approximately 44 total. Something like that. There we go. All right, click in an empty area to deselect. Then move the pointer anywhere over the path. You should see the point that you just made and other anchor points as well that you created. All right, move the pointer over the original width point, and you should see the little arms extending. Drag it up and down, and you can see what happens here. It's going to actually change the shape of the path. I'm going to leave it like right about there. Move the pointer over the top, and I want to make this so it tapers perfectly. So double-click the point, and you're going to create, or edit rather, the width point in the width point edit dialog box. Change the total width to 0, and that's going to bring these really close together so there's actually no gap there. And click OK. Move the pointer over the handles down here, and it's going to be harder, but what I want you, we could double-click it here, but drag the width to be about 12 pixels rather. It's going to be tough because it's going to be really small. Something like that. One of my favorite features in Illustrator is intertwine, and I'm not even going to try to describe it. We're just going to see it. So choose to signage from down here. With the selection tool selected, what I want you to do is click the white serpentine shape. It's this scarf right here. It's going to be a little more challenging to select. That's okay. Then choose View Zoom In a bunch of times. What I want to have happen here is I want the scarf to look like it's wrapping around the dog's body. So it needs to go behind the dog here, behind the dog here, that kind of thing. Now to get this to work, we need to have more than one object selected. You can't just say take this path and put it behind or something like that. So shift click the dog's body here, and that's a group of objects. And we'll make it an intertwined object. Let me zoom in once more. I'm going to use Command plus or Control plus. Choose Object, Intertwine, Make. It's not going to do anything. In other words, it's going to look the same. I shouldn't say that. It's going to create it, or turn it into an intertwined object, which is kind of like a group of things. So it's now one object. You can still separate things. I'm going to click OK. So your job is to come out here and say, you know what? I want this part and this part to go behind. So now you got to be careful here. You've got to go all the way around. So you want to go like this. So I'm going to go, make sure you touch where they overlap and let go, and you'll see it puts it behind. I'll try over here as well. So just be careful. Come down, and you can see. Now if you want to undo that, you can go to Edit, Undo. It's going to rearrange it. If you screw up, if you're like, oh, whoops, I didn't do anything right. If you select it, click Edit so you can draw again. And if you mess up, you're like, oh, I didn't do it right, like that. look what it's going to do. Do some weird stuff. So I'm going to edit undo. And then edit again and try again. Make sure you get it all the way around the overlapping. There we go. When you're finished, choose Select Deselect. And with the selection tool selected, click the white scarf and you can select the intertwine object again. Like I said before, if you want to keep editing, you can edit and try again. And it'll just reverse it if you go over the same pass. Now we're going to assemble the sign. So choose View, Fit All in Window. With the selection tool selected, what I want you to do is drag the dog's head onto the middle artboard here. And then drag the tail of the dog from the bottom down here up to the right. And we're going to put those together. All right, choose View, Zoom In. And I've got the tail selected, so it's going to zoom into that. Oops, I'm going to use Command plus, Control plus to zoom in faster. All right, resize the head by shift dragging. And then drag it into place. And see what you think looks good. I think that's too big. Make it a little smaller, maybe. Maybe a little bigger. And you can zoom in closer if you want to make it look better. Select the tail. And what we want to do is scale this thing, but it's a stroke. So if we scale it, the stroke will not scale. Come over here to transform, click more options, and anytime you scale something with a stroke and you want the stroke to actually go larger or smaller, depending on how big or small you make it, select Scale Strokes and Effects. Now shift drag the tail to make it smaller. Don't go too small. I'm going to zoom in again, much further, and space bar to move around. To rotate the tail, move your cursor just off a corner point, drag it like that, put it on the dog. You can make it bigger or smaller if you want to. And then what I want you to do is I'm going to zoom out, Command minus or Control minus, drag across all the pieces here, and we're going to group them together. So choose Object, Group. The last bit here is to assemble the whole poster. So choose View, Fit All in Window, and we're going to drag everything. So drag the sign over here. It's a little big. That's okay. We can make it smaller. The clouds, this sign right here, which is way too big. The bush, we can put over here. The other bush, I have a place for it to go right here. The cloud can go here. Cloud can go here. There we go, not too bad. And you want to resize the open 24-hour sign. I'm going to zoom into that by choosing View, Fit Artboard, and Window. And hopefully it's the right artboard. Of course not. Click in the artboard, choose View, Fit Artboard, and Window. And I'm going to take that sign, just make it smaller. So it kind of fits in this area. And you can make this a little smaller if you want or not. You can do everything. I'll move this around. Plant goes here. Push. There we go. Not too bad. Looks pretty good. All right, last step, we're going to switch the toolbar back to the basic toolbar. So go up to Window, Toolbars, Basic. Save your file, and you can close whatever you have open. To start this lesson, make sure you've reset the default preferences and you started Illustrator. Now let's open up a file. So choose File Open or click Open over here. In the Lessons Lesson 5 folder, open up the L5end.ai file. I'm going to go to Properties here. Okay, if you see the Missing Fonts dialog box, go ahead and activate the fonts. I already obviously have them activated. And then click Skip in the Font Auto Activation dialog box. Choose View, Fit All in Window so you can see everything out here. And this is the final. This is what we're going to wind up with. Let's open up the start file. So choose File, Open, and open up the L5 start.ai file. And we're going to save this. So go to File, Save As. What I want you to do is click Save on your computer so we can save it locally. And we'll call this Vacation Ads. And make sure Illustrator is chosen. Format or Save As type on Windows. Click Save. Click OK. This should be getting kind of rote. And reset the workspace by choosing Window, Workspace. Make sure Essentials is chosen, and then choose Reset Essentials. To begin with artboards, we're going to draw a new custom artboard. So choose View, Fit Artboard and Window, and that's going to fit this single solitary artboard into the window. To zoom out, press Command and minus or Control and minus on Windows a few times. And then we're going to drag. So press the space bar and drag over so you can see the tree over here. Release the mouse and the space bar. Select the selection tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new artboard for the art right over here. To edit artboards, you're going to go to artboard editing mode. So click Edit Artboards here. And what that does is it selects the artboard tool over here in the toolbar and kind of enters this mode where you can start to edit and change things about artboards. Come right up over here and just drag to make an artboard. Don't worry about how big it is. And you just made an artboard that now has the tree on it. Now you can tell that this artboard is selected. It's got kind of a dotted line around it. And you can see it says Artboard 2 right here. If you come to the right with an artboard selected, you can edit all kinds of things about it. We're going to change the width. So select the width here and type 336. Select the height and type 280. You can then press Enter or Return to accept it. Change the name to City Vacation Add. And we'll do lowercase like that. And then press Enter or Return to accept that. And you can see there's the name right there. We're just naming it so we know which is which. Out in the document, drag the artboard to the right a little bit more just to give it a little more room. And you'll notice that the artwork that's on the artboard moves with it. That's a default. You can see right here, move artwork with artboard. If you don't want to move the artwork and just the artboard, turn that off and move. Now we'll create another artboard using a different method. In artboard editing mode, with the artboard tool selected over here on the left, if you look on the far right in the properties panel, if you want to add a new artboard, you can just click this plus sign right here, this little plus button. So do that. It's going to add a new artboard to the right of the one you just made. Change the name to Mountain Vacation. And I should have followed the same suit, or case rather, vacation, but that's okay. And then press Enter or Return. You can see that that is now the name right there. All right, choose View, Fit All in Window so you can see all of the artboards in the document. Fitting all in Window just fits the artboards. It doesn't fit all the artwork hanging outside the artboards. All right, to exit or stop editing artboards, click Exit up here in the upper right. And essentially what it does, it goes back to a tool like the selection tool you had selected. When you have a few artboards in a document, you're probably going to want to move them and maybe resize them depending on what's going on. We'll do that next. So press Command and minus on Mac or Control and minus on Windows to zoom out. Select the artboard tool over there in the toolbar, and that's the same thing as entering artboard editing mode on the right in the properties panel. Drag the rightmost artboard over here up to the left and a little bit higher. Oop, it just scrolled, you can see that there. Click on the artboard with the Unforgettable Beaches text, and you can select that artboard. And what I want to do is zoom into that. So choose View, Fit Artboard in Window, so the selected artboard or the active artboard gets fit in the window. Drag the bottom middle point up, might be kind of tough, and you should feel it snap to the artwork, and let go. Choose View, Fit All in Window, so you can see all the artboards again. And click this artboard here, the City Vacation Add artboard, and we're going to remove it. So press Delete or Backspace. You'll notice that if you delete an artboard, you don't delete the artwork. Select the selection tool and take that tree and just bring it down here out of the way. We're actually going to copy paste an artboard from another document next. You can copy artboards and artwork between documents, and that's what you'll do next. So choose File Open. In the Lesson 5 folder, open up the bus.ai file. And you can see there's a tree off to the right here. Choose View, Fit Artboard and Window. We're going to copy the artboard. It will copy the artwork automatically, but not anything that's off the side of the artboard. It won't copy the tree. Select the artboard tool. We need to select the artboard. Now make sure you can see it's selected here. It's got the dashed line. It's got the name. Be careful. If you click again, you might add another artboard or do something weird. So don't do that. You can see I just added like 15 artboards. I'm going to undo that. There we go. Now I have that one selected. Okay. Let's copy it. Choose Edit, Copy. And you can close the file without saving it. Mine's probably going to ask me to save. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. Back in the Vacation Ads document, let's paste. So choose Edit, Paste. It's going to paste the artboard. Now, here's the thing. The artwork coming in actually has a swatch applied color that has the same name as this document. So they're named the same thing. It's called van. We want to merge them, which means that whatever van color was in the other document, it's still going to come in here, but it's going to use the van color from this document, the appearance of it. So click OK. And I'm going to do Apply to All. Looks like there was a couple of them. I did that in the book, actually. And you can see right here, it changed the color of the van. It used to be a different color. Now it's the same color as this because it's using the named color from this document. Once you start getting a few artboards, you want to align them and arrange them and usually just keep things neat and tidy. With the artboard tool still selected, shift-click the other two artboards to select them as well. If you look over here in the Properties panel, you can see Align options. You can actually align these to each other. So click the vertical align top button here, and that should align them to each other, but there's kind of a problem here. You might see that the orange stuff here, this artwork, did not move. That's because it's locked. It will not move something that's locked. So choose Edit, Undo Align. To unlock that content, choose Object, Unlock All. Now click the vertical align top button again, and now everything should move. There you go. Now we can also rearrange artboards, which means move them in different orders, put them in columns or rows or whatever. Click the Rearrange All button right here in the Properties panel to open the Rearrange All Artboards dialog box. Now I want to arrange these by row, which they're already in. So they're already in a row, that's fine. But I want to change the spacing here between them. We're going to make them so I'm going to press the Shift key and do this. So it's 40 pixels. So change this to 40. Click OK. And you should now see the spacing between them is 40. Now what's interesting is the artboard that was on the left is now in the middle. This one's first. That's because of the artboard numbering. You see 01, 02, 03. I'll talk about that in a few sections. We looked at setting options for artboards a little bit early on, but let's look at some more. While still in artboard editing mode, click to select the artboard named Artboard 1, which is right here, and it should deselect the other two. Click the Artboard Options button over here in the Properties panel. That's going to open this dialog box where you can set all kinds of things, like video marks and size and position, etc. We're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to call this Beach. This is just another way to name something, name an artboard. Beach Vacation Ad. Click OK. And save your file. You can now see it's named. Now we're going to talk a little bit about reordering artboards, which has to do with the number you see in the corner here. Choose Window Artboards from the menu up here, and it's going to open the Artboards panel. Now, not everyone opens this because you can navigate between artboards pretty easily, but this is a way for you to see the names, see the orientation, see what order they're in. If you choose like next artboard, or previous artboard down here or in the properties panel. With the panel open, double click the number to the left of 3. And this is also another way you can navigate in here. So you can go to an artboard like 3. If you come down here, you can see previous artboard. Click on that. And it's going to go to 2 Mountain Vacation Ad. That's the ordering here, previous and next, that's where it gets it from, right here. Not out here, it doesn't matter. What orientation, what position they are out here doesn't matter. Drag the bus artboard up above the Mountain Vacation Ad artboard and let go. You now just change the order, but notice out here it didn't do anything, except for change the numbers. You can see 3 and 2. Now it changed the ordering there. So if we go to next and previous, it might jump in weird ways because this is the way the order is. Choose View, Fit All in Window, and once again you can see it. Nothing changed out here except for the numbering. Drag the bus artboard back down below the Mountain Vacation Ad and release the mouse button. And it zoomed in for me, that's fine. To exit artboard editing mode, click Exit up here, and then close the artboards panel group right here. To see everything, choose View, Fit All in Window. Now we're going to start working with rulers and guides. Guides are lines that don't print and they don't really show when you export. They can help you align stuff. So with nothing selected and the selection tool selected, make sure that's there, click the Show Rulers button over here. That's going to show rulers along the top and left edges. Click in each of the artboards like this one, and notice where the 0 on the ruler starts, here and here. It's actually pointing to the upper left corner. Click on this one, 0, 0. Same thing here, 0, 0. That's called the active artboard. Click the text Unforgettable Beaches here. And by doing that, by clicking on something that's on an artboard, you make it the active artboard. You can see the subtle black line here. All right, choose View, Fit Artboard and Window, so it's going to fit that one in the window. Deselect the text, and I want to see some properties over here. If you look in the Properties panel, you're going to see we have pixels set right now. Go ahead and change that to, I'll change it to inches. I know you want to change it to whatever you want here, but I'm going to change it to inches. Now, we're going to create a guide. So from the ruler on the left over here, if you want to create a guide, you drag out. So drag until you see about half inch on the ruler, half inch on the ruler up here, and let go. I'm going to choose View, Fit Artboard and Window again so you can see it. Okay, so we're about at a half inch, and that guide is actually selected. You can tell because it's blue when you move your cursor off of it. With it still selected, change the X value. This is, you can change where it lives, or where it sits rather, here, to 0.25 IN if you don't use inches. And it's going to go exactly at 1/4 inch from the edge of the page. All right, choose Select, Deselect. The guide is no longer selecting. You can see it's aqua. And save your file. I wanted to talk quickly about the ruler origin, where the 0, 0 is. Sometimes you want to put a box or some artwork down here and snug it to the lower left corner. Now you can snap with smart guides, but you can also use your ruler guides. You can take from where these guides intersect, these ruler guides intersect, drag out and set this ruler origin wherever you want. That puts the 0, 0 down here in the lower left now. So if I were to take a box and draw it out here and like move it around, it would actually be relative to that 0, 0 mark down there, okay? That's the whole idea. We can actually move the origin, the 0, 0, to any part of the document out here. When you're done, you can come back up here, and if you double click on this thing, it'll reset it to the upper left. You want to remember to do that. I can't tell you how many times I screwed things up because I didn't realize, oh, it's down here or over here or something like that. Hopefully that makes sense by setting the ruler origin somewhere else in a custom spot and then resetting it. Let's talk about bounding boxes. These are super important. Click to select the Unforgettable Beaches text, and you can see that this button is also grouped with it. If you move the pointer over the lower left corner, let's say that I wanted to drag this and position it so that it's snapped to the guide or snapped into the lower left corner or something. If you try and move this right now, it's going to resize it. You can't do that. I'll choose Edit, Undo Scale. I didn't ask you to do that in the book, but If we hide the bounding box, so these handles, you can move it more efficiently. Choose View, Hide Bounding Box. Now you can come over here to the corner, drag, and you can put it wherever you want and snap it even. You can see the arrow turning white, and it's now snapped to the guide. Whenever you do something like this by turning off the bounding boxes, you want to make sure you turn them back on. At least that's my way I work. So choose View, Show Bounding Box again, and you can now see it again. You're going to position artwork all the time in Illustrator, and being able to do it precisely is something you're going to want to get good at. Let's see everything by choosing View, Fit All in Window. Click on the blank artboard in the middle here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this artwork here and move it here, but make sure it goes to the upper left corner up here. Click to select that group of artwork. Now, in the transform section over here, you will see this dotted box. That refers to the bounding points on the bounding box of this object, of this group. Click the upper left point of the reference locator, that's what it's called. Change the X value to 0 and the Y value to 0 and press Return or Enter. You are telling Illustrator for this stuff right here, upper left corner relative, put it in the 0, 0, X across, Y down of the artboard, which is right there, 0, 0. So that's how we position something perfectly or exactly in Illustrator. Now we're going to resize this content, so come to the corner and shift drag the content so that that kind of salmon pink just fits in. Release the mouse button and key, and you've got it. Choose Select, Deselect, and save your file. So far in this book, to scale things, you've dragged with the selection tool and maybe the shift key. We're going to try to scale something precisely a little different way. So if you can see the plant down here, what I want you to do is drag across the plant shapes to select them. And we want to get that circle down there too, sorry. Press Command and plus or Control and plus a few times to zoom in so you can see it pretty closely. All right, now you can see all the blue and all the bounding boxes and all that stuff. So what I want you to do is choose View, Hide Edges. You should see right there. This sometimes makes it easier to see the artwork when you have it selected. In the Properties panel, click the center reference point so we can resize from the center. And make sure that Maintain Proportions right here is set. So it looks like that. Click on it if it's not. Change the width to 40%. Whoops. That's going to convert it when we press Return or Enter. And it's going to make it half the size. Now, notice what happened here. This actually scaled up. We had talked about this in a previous lesson. When you scale something with a stroke, the stroke doesn't change. So if the object gets smaller, the stroke stays the same. It looks bigger, but it's actually not. All right, choose View, Show Edges, so you can see the inside edges again. Choose Edit, Undo. We're going to undo that. Undo Scale. Get it back where it was. And this time, we're going to turn something on called Scale, Strokes, and Effects. So come up here to the Transform section and turn on Scale, Strokes, and Effects. Now, it's kind of weird. You can see the same things here, but go to the Width field, one of them. Type in 40%. We're going to do the same thing. and press Return or Enter, and you'll notice what it did. It actually scaled this right here now because it's a stroke. Choose View, Fit All in Window so you can see all the artboards. And with the selection tool selected, click the palm tree to the right of the van right here. We're going to rotate this thing, but I don't want to rotate it from the middle, which it normally does. It normally goes like that. I don't want to do that. I want to make it so that it rotates from down here so this stays still. Choose View, Fit Artboard and Window. And select the Rotate tool over there in the toolbar. You see it right there. And what you can do is you can go over like the tree trunk here and click, and that's going to set the rotate around point, so where it's going to rotate. That's called the reference point. Move the pointer anywhere over the palm tree and drag, and you can see what it's going to do here. So it's going to rotate around that point. Go clockwise a little bit and let go when you get it where you want it, and we should be good. One of my favorite commands to work smarter is transform each. You're going to see what it does. It's going to transform a bunch of things together at once. With the selection tool selected, select one of the white clouds and then shift click the other two to select them. Choose Object, Transform, Transform Each. Now, if you look over here in the transform panel, if you try to change the width and height over here, it's going to change them all together as like one object. Transform Each is going to look at each separate cloud and transform them independently. That's what I love about this. Change the horizontal and vertical scale to 70. You don't have to type in percent. I'm going to press the Tab key to go to the next one. And if you notice, if I click on another field, you're going to notice doing them from the center on each one. You actually have a reference point down here to do too. Click OK. Looks pretty good. And save your file. Another of my favorite transformations is shearing, and you'll see what I mean by that. Click to select the van, and we're going to zoom in. So press Command and plus on Mac, or Control or plus on Windows, and you can see the window right here. Select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle. I forget where in the book I did it. Right about there. It looks something like that. Maybe a little narrower. Okay. Now we're going to make this a window. Change the fill color to white or similar if it's not already white, and the stroke weight to 0 if necessary. Now you're going to skew it, so you're going to actually make it look like one of these. With the shape selected, select the Shear tool, which is underneath the Rotate tool right here. Move the pointer above or somewhere around, press the Shift key, and start dragging, and you can constrain it. What I want you to do is make sure you have an angle of about 45. That's about good. Release the mouse button and the key. Let's change the opacity to look more like these, so it's kind of like a reflection. Come over here, and if you click on the arrow to the right, you can change it to like 60-ish, something like that. That looks pretty good. Aside from using tools, you can also use menu commands to transform things. And we're going to make a copy of the selected rectangle. So choose Object, Transform. You're going to see Rotate, Reflect, Skew, all these in here. So choose Move. And what you can do is you can move it and copy it. So we're going to do a horizontal distance of 0.12. Vertical, make sure that it doesn't go anywhere vertically. So 0. Oops, not -0, 0. And we want to make a copy. So click Copy. And you can see you've got yourself another reflection. Now we're going to make it a little bit narrower. And this is a little challenging because it's skewed and all this kind of stuff. So select the selection tool and double click the rectangle. This enters isolation mode so you can't accidentally select other things. Now we could try to resize this, but watch what happens. It gets kind of weird, okay? I'm going to undo that. Let it undo. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the direct selection tool to move the anchor points. So go to the direct selection tool, click on this anchor, shift click the bottom anchor down here, and then press your left arrow key a few times to go to your left. Press the escape key to exit so you can see everything. Choose view, fit all in window, and save your file. Free transform allows you to do things like in perspective. If you want to just watch, go ahead. I'm going to go to the selection tool here and grab a van, let's say a van here. I'm going to copy. I'm eventually going to delete this. So I'm going to copy it up here and use Command and plus. Now I did Option drag or Alt drag to copy that. I'm sorry. If we want to free transform this, we can. What I want you to do is come up to Window, Toolbars, and choose Advanced. And that should show you a lot of tools. And you should now see the free transform tool. You're going to see this little widget, this little bar. You can come out here now and do all kinds of stuff. You can like rotate it. Whoops. You can skew it if you want. You can resize it. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can even come in here if you want to and do like a perspective distort. If you turn that on and come to a corner, for instance, you can distort it in perspective, which is kind of cool. If you want to, you can do it a bunch of different ways. Like I can grab it this way and go this way. I can go that way, out, whatever you want to do. You can even see something called free distort. This is a little fun because you just get to do whatever. I can distort it however I want. Rotate it, do this, etc. Squish it, stretch it. You can see pretty cool stuff. Anyway, I wanted to just introduce you to the free transform tool and show you that there are tons of ways you can work with this. I want to select the selection tool and delete the bus and then show everything again so we can continue. So choose view, fit all in window. It should be ready to go. If you followed along in the previous video, what I want you to do is come up to Window, Toolbars, and reset your toolbar back to basic so we don't show all those tools. Okay, select the zoom tool and come out here and zoom into the green plant below the artboard so we can see it. I'm going to drag to zoom. Select the selection tool and drag across the green stuff, not this oval down here, because we're just going to take this and we're going to use what's called a mirror repeat, and mirror it. To mirror something, you select it, then choose Object, Repeat, Mirror. And there we go. You can find the control handle right here. There's a little control handle. You can actually drag this left and right to do overlaps if you want. I'm going to just do a little bit. There we go. You can come either circle above or below and change the angle if you want to do that. You can also, if you want to, this is kind of cool, you can come over here and reset the mirror repeat to 90 degrees, for instance, by doing it in the menu. That way you don't have to worry about dragging it perfectly. All right, choose select, deselect, so none of this is selected. And we want to copy one of the leaves. So click on it. We're going to Shift Option drag on Mac or Shift Alt drag on Windows. The top leaf up. So we go up like that-ish. Release the mouse button and the keys. And then just make it a little smaller. Shift drag, make it a little smaller. And there we go. Now I'm mirrored. Notice it's creating artwork on the other side too. It's kind of cool. To stop editing the mirror repeat, you exit isolation mode by pressing the escape key. The plant is now deselected. After you apply a mirror repeat, if you want to edit it, that's what we'll do next. So click the plant plant to selected. At the top of the properties panel, you're going to see mirror repeat. This is a mirror repeat object now. Double click the plant to enter isolation mode, and you can now see the original artwork. Click one of the leaves to select it. You got to click away first and then click on it. Come over and change the fill color in the properties panel to something different. I went with a little bit lighter green. All right, press the escape key or double click in an area outside. I'll double click outside. Then choose view, fit all in window. Drag across the plant and the oval down here and group them together. So choose object group and drag them up here. So put them up over here, and you're going to see mine's actually behind. So if you need to do this, you can arrange and bring the front and put it in front, and you've got it. Since we talked about mirror repeats, I just wanted to quickly talk about radial repeats. So what I'm going to do, if you want to follow along you can. I'm just going to copy this. Whoops, not that. I'm going to double click in here and grab the tree. I'll copy that. So edit copy. Double click away. And use the space bar to move up and paste the tree up here. Okay. Come up to object. You're going to see that we actually have different types of repeats. So if you come to repeat, you're going to see radial, grid, and mirror. We just did mirror. Let's do grid. Choose grid. It's going to do exactly what it sounds like. You just make a grid. You can change the distance between the spacing. You can change the spacing this way, overlap if you want to, make pattern repeats, that kind of thing. It's really pretty cool. There's also some great stuff. Show more or less, etc. If you double click, you can actually come to the original artwork and resize or change it. Do things like that. Maybe even make a color change. I'm just going to do a quick color change. There we go. But that's the whole idea here, okay? All right. If you have an object like this selected, you can see it's a certain type of repeat right here. You can see it right there. If you do a grid repeat, you can actually change a lot of this kind of stuff right here, so it overlaps different ways. You flip it, etc. There's a lot of things you can do here. If you want to take a repeat and stop it, for instance, go to Object, Repeat, you can actually release it. That's going to make it so you have the original object again. And this is actually the wrong way, so I'll flip it. Let's take a look at a radial repeat. Select your tree, Object, Repeat, Radial. And same kind of thing. It's a radial repeat object now. You can increase the number of sides here, number of trees, basically. You can scale it. You can do things like change the spacing out this way, rotate them, overlap. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do here. I can scale it, bigger, smaller. Tons of stuff. You can start it at a certain area, stop it, only show half, like that. And you'll see a lot of this stuff over here. So you can increase, change the radius, etc. Reverse the overlap, how they overlap, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, these are working with grids and radials. It's really fun. Try to explore. You're going to see all kinds of widgets everywhere that you can grab and change and move and do all kinds of fun stuff with. I'm going to delete this by pressing delete and choose or show everything. So choose view, fit all in window, and we're ready to go. Using the puppet warp tool is one of my favorite things because you get to distort stuff. You get to grab something and make like a dog's head go up or something like that. But we need to use the puppet warp tool, which is not in the toolbar. So to add it, click the palm tree first, be rotated over here. Zoom in by pressing Command and plus on Mac or Control and plus on Windows a few times. Now we're going to add the tool we need, the puppet warp tool. So click Edit Toolbar. Come in here and find the puppet warp tool, which I always struggle to find all this stuff. There it is right there. Drag it up somewhere and put it between some tools here. And then you can press Escape to hide the extra tools menu. And it's already selected. with the tool selected and artwork selected, you can see what it's kind of doing here. It's kind of weird. It's actually showing this mesh. It's also showing this black pin, what we call a pin, right here. In the properties panel on the right, if you turn off show mesh, it's going to be easier to focus on the artwork. And then click the one pin on the tree and drag it. You can see what it's doing here. It's really not helping you at all. It's just kind of moving it around. In order for us to bend and distort and do things, we need more pins. Now, I'll choose Edit, Undo Puppet Warp, Command-Z or Control-Z to put it back where it was. There we go. And now we're going to add more pins so that we can warp this thing. I want to take the tree trunk and kind of bend it. So put a pin down here at the bottom to keep it still. And then a pin somewhere around here by clicking. What you can do is you can drag the pin in the middle here to reshape. Now, come to this pin. If you don't like certain pins, you can click on them and press Delete or Backspace. It's going to put things where they were. It's going to kind of remove the pin holding it in place so they can kind of, naturally go where it should. Click back in the middle of the leaves here to add a pin, and then drag it back roughly where it was. With pins in place, you can move them, you can add pins, remove them. You can also rotate pins. With the pin in the middle still selected, you'll see a dashed line around the pin. What you can do is if you move it around, move the pointer over it, you can drag to rotate it. Kind of rotate it around. I'm going to go just a little bit here. Now, click in the end of one of the leaves to add a pin. You can see it kind of move things around. It always does that. Drag the new pin down, and look what happens here. It's kind of rotating around that pin right there, and these are moving. I'm going to choose Edit Undo to move it back, and then click to set pins on the leaves over here so they kind of stay in place, and it kind of messes stuff up sometimes. Now drag the pin on the leaf here and see what happens. It's trying to hold the other parts in place. You can see that there. I'm not going to go crazy. Now click the pin at the bottom of the tree trunk down here, and then move it to see how the rest of the tree reacts. You can kind of see what's going on here a little bit. We want the base to look like it's more level with the ground. So move the pointer over the dash circle and drag so it kind of goes like that. We're done. Choose Select, Deselect. Choose View, Fit All in Windows so you can see everything. Save your file and close all open files. You've got it.